Hello there, welcome back to the Ogre, the old Git Reacts, Reviews and Off Times Reminiscences. Today we're doing, can't say it. Today we're doing Kveldstimer, which I have to say was an instant. Though it is of late, I can't get my words out. I am training for a quite a long distance mountain bike event, so at the moment I'm bollocks most of the time, so that might have something to do with it. It's probably just old age kicking in. Anyway. Where was I? Oh yeah, instant purchase, for good reason, which we're about to find out, so let's just do that, shall we? Oh, it's winding itself up. I have to download these and then rather than stream them, but if it doesn't happen soon, it's not happening. I'm not going to bother doing that, so let's do it that way. Occasionally I'll use the word sumptuous to describe some of the music I listen to, but not very often, but here I will. It's almost like being caught in an avalanche of treacle or syrup, which is that any preferable to being caught in any other sort of avalanche? I don't know, but the point is, if you were carried along by this, even if there were sharp pointy things within that treacle, by and large you would, other than the sort of risk of drowning, you would be get to the end more or less intact. A bit sticky maybe, but this pours into your ears in the same way as treacle does, and of course if that was really happening then it wouldn't pour out again, which again, in this case, who would care? Let this sound reverberate around your noggin as much as it wants to do. Glorious. Sometimes I feel like I should keep my gob shut throughout these videos and not say a thing, rather than interrupt the glory that we behold before us. But well, that's not my style really, so I will say one or two things. But there's a reason this was an instant purchase, and I suppose a lot of it falls down to the synthesizers and how they're used and the sound they make. It is almost like being in a light show. Now, of late, where I live, it's been possible with your camera to capture the northern lights. So I'm always told, because I've never seen them, even when they're supposed to be apparent, that they are a sight to behold. I don't know that, so I can only use my imagination by what I see on videos or the news or what have you. We have a sound to behold, which would be an equivalence of what I see when I see videos of the Northern Lights, particularly when they're sped up, which happens to be the case very often. So yeah, colourful to say the least, vibrant. So everything on here is virtually perfection. When I'm listening to it in a quiet moment, not particularly, everything about all the instrumentation, even the vocals, all just stands out. But I did notice from the very start with it, the bass just tanks along. It's got that flat but twangy sound to it, which is probably, the way the bass is played here is probably one of my favourite sounds of a bass guitar. I do quite like a flat bass sound. Of course, it depends on the music, but here it works very, very well. It twangs along in a manner which is unfriendly. You know, a round, jazzy, bassy sound sort of gets you sort of in the mood for I'm going to stop because this is going to go down right. I'm going to start talking even more bollocks than I normally do. But what I mean is, the bass here is very insistent, but it's got a hard edge to it that you wait for it to invite you in rather than assume that you can just get in there. Anyway, let's let this run to the end, because it is music that is worth not interrupting, even though I do. So there you go. A nice juxtaposition at the end, I suppose, but after this sweep of those synthesizers, to have that more jagged acoustic guitar sound. If it was indeed acoustic guitar rather than acoustic sounding electric, doesn't matter. Yeah, so you know, that is stuff that a sound you could happily drown in. And I've listened to this album, when did I buy it? Not long ago, but it has been listened to on a fairly regular basis ever since. You know, as priorities go in my listening schedule, this is right at the top, and will probably remain there for quite some time. Anyway, clicky bollocks, catch you all next time, cheerio.